Hello, Grace Church, and what a beautiful day we have. Just before I pushed play on this video, we got news that there's more restrictions coming tonight. I anticipate the church is going to be completely closed again, other than for live stream services. I'm not sure how that's going to affect our anniversary drive-through on Sunday, but we'll try to keep you informed. You know, this is so exhausting, folks. Like, it is so impossible to plan anything. I liken it this morning. I was just thinking about it, and I was thinking it's kind of like if you had a restaurant and you had to put a menu together for every week, but you were never sure what food you were going to be able to get that particular week. It's just insane, and it's exhausting. And there's so much communication that has to go on between so many people that it's so time consuming, because you can't just talk to somebody. You can't just bump into somebody and have a 5-minute conversation on Sunday morning. You know, it ends up being a couple hours of emailing or texting back and forth. So anyways, it's frustrating, but it is what it is. And today marks the 60th anniversary of the first service at Grace Church. So it's something to celebrate, something to remember, something to hopefully give us something good to look forward to as we go into this weekend. I want to talk a little bit about vision today. This isn't going to be a study video. I want to talk a little bit about vision. I want to give you some information on some things that I know has been on a few people's minds and some questions I've received. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. So I'm gonna get right into it. Part of our anniversary, what we want to do is we're looking around the facility, and we're saying, you know, this is a place that a lot of people have invested a lot of their time and money and life into, this beautiful church property and facility that we have here. And yet, you know, there's some things that need to be done around here this spring, and we've done a few things already over this past year. But you know, we want to get the front garden and flower beds cleaned up. We want to do a little tree trimming. I think Terry would like to have some pressure washing done on the building. We're going to do some south entrance landscaping, and we've got some sign ideas to just make that south entrance, which really is probably our main entrance now, a little more attractive, a little more welcoming, a little more visible from the road there. So much of the population has grown south of the church compared to what it must have been like 60 years ago, or I guess back in the 80s when this building was built. We want to fix some of the potholes in the driveway. Terry would sure like to repaint some of the lines in our parking lot, and so on. And then we've also received a very generous donation from a member of the congregation that has been designated. They would like to see us purchase chairs to replace the pews in the sanctuary. So that's something the lead team is talking about, and we'll see where that goes. But yeah, a generous donation has been given to that end, and so you know, we may consider going to chairs in the near future. Those nice comfy chairs that are so much more adaptable than pews. At the same time, it's kind of sad seeing pews go. So anyways, that discussion will continue, and you'll certainly be a part of that discussion. Some have asked, why are we doing so much around our facility? You know, we did the Genesis room, we've done some paving and cement outside, and, you know, spent a fair bit of money this past year. Some of that stuff just needs to get done. We're putting away a contingency fund for work on the facility so that we don't have to take mortgages out again and that kind of thing. But as we do that, especially when the facility isn't getting used as much as normal, some people have asked, well, what about the community? What can we be giving to the community? Well, okay, one of the things I would say, first of all, is that this is a pretty good time actually to get things done around the church because it's not very busy. There aren't too many people around. We're in a good financial situation. We've been putting our surpluses, kind of splitting them up between missions and the facility. Very few in our community. Our mission team has actually been going around and asking organizations in our community what they need. And I guess it's a testament to this generous community we live in, but very few are reporting that they have any needs. And so we continue to ask and we continue to be alert to that. But especially in terms of financial needs, there's very little that we're finding our partners in the community and organizations in our community are needing. So we want to stay on top of the facility, but we're also really keeping a close eye on what can we do in our community. So our missions team has been working on that. And having said all of that, the church itself is actually limited. Like, we might want to go help out a business or something like that, but actually where we are allowed to designate funds to with charitable statuses and all that kind of thing can get a little tricky. So I encourage you, if as the church if you see a need in the community that would be on your heart, I encourage you to get a group of people together and see if you can help respond to that need. That's how the church works best. Sometimes the institution can't do as many things as you can as the church on the ground. So just be alert to that. Think about that. You also need to know, I think these things are important, that while we have done some of these major facility projects, our annual missions budget has increased by 30%, almost $40,000 in the last 2 years, to be about 22% of our budget, our total budget right now. And in addition to that, in the last 2 years, we have also given $71,000 of our surplus to missions. So that's about $111,000 more given to mission partners than the 2 years previous. And I just want to say, well done, church. You are a generous, beautiful congregation, and we really appreciate that. Some have asked about staffing. Well, that's been a bit of a nightmare the last 14 months. And with what has occurred over the past 14 months, with Pastor Steve now leaving at the end of this month, we are in the process of hiring a full-time associate pastor who will be primarily focused on youth. We're going to use the term associate pastor of family ministries, but primarily they won't have the responsibilities that Steve did. They will be mainly focused just on the youth programs and maybe parents to some degree. And with this hire, our total staffing budget is still 22% lower than it was in 2018. And the staffing percentage of our entire budget for 2021 is 39% of our budget compared to 47% in 2018. Now going forward, we want to continue to keep staff at a minimum as we promote, and the vision of this church is to equip the body to do the work of ministry. And at the same time, we are trying to take a more strategic approach to staffing based on, potential part-time staffing for specific needs rather than just hiring a full-time associate pastor to do, 10 different things, because very few people are equipped and gifted to do a lot of different things. So it makes more sense to us, I think, if it's possible, to maybe be a little bit more targeted, maybe to hire someone for 10 hours, 15 hours a week to do this or that or the other thing. And so one of the things that is on our radar, I have to tell you, is, that we could possibly hire a part-time chaplain type position that would oversee things like visitation and so on, and maybe develop and oversee a biblical type of deacon ministry. And whatever you think about that right now, I'm going to be doing some video teaching shortly in the next couple of weeks on what biblical church leadership structure looks like and what the roles are. And I'll expand on these ideas in that video. Yeah, so those are some of the things that we're thinking about. We do have a lead team meeting on Tuesday, and some things will be discussed there. I have a new series that I'm planning for the summer, and that series is going to be looking at the parables of Jesus that Jesus gave us in the book of Luke. So I think this series in Jeremiah is going to take us until somewhere in June, and then for the summer I'd like to do a series on those parables. So that should be interesting. What I'm going to do with these weekday videos is I want to be a little bit more topical. So they won't be sermons so much. I think I've spent some time in the last few months kind of looking at how we can study passages going into Sunday. And I encourage those of you who have found that useful, excuse me, I got some allergies going on in my nose here, have found those useful. I think you now have a template for how you can study through a passage prior to Sunday. And those reference passages and things will all be in the YouTube feed on the description part, usually by Thursday. So you have a few days to have a look before Sunday comes. But so I want to get a little bit more topical. Like I say, I'll do a little thing on biblical church leadership structure and other things that are maybe less of a sermon, but more of just a conversation about how we can, apply biblical principles to some of the everyday issues that we might be dealing with. So watch out for that. And again, I can't guarantee that I can do this every single week, but I'm going to do my best to make it a regular thing. These videos also take up a fair bit of time to it's not just as easy as sitting here for 15-20 minutes doing the video. There's a lot more that goes into that. And yeah, I got to tell you, it would be so much less work to just open the church, to be honest with you. So when you hear some pastors or people out in there saying that it's lazy to shut down your churches, believe me, it's way more work and it's way more frustrating. It would be so much easier to just throw the doors open. But we are committed to what we have committed to all along. And as frustrating as that might be sometimes, we still believe that this is the best way to go and that God is in charge. And when he says we're done and it's time to move on, and whatever he's going to expose, whatever he's going to show us, whatever he's doing with all of this, we're going to follow him. And that's what we've committed to. So, yeah. So all that being said, yeah, you'll be hearing some things coming at you after the next lead team meeting. The lead team has decided that, after every meeting, we are going to try to give you an update. We're trying to communicate with you as much as is reasonably possible through all this time when we can't meet together. So hopefully you'll feel up to date. And please check out the newsletters if you haven't. They are a wealth of information as well. So yeah, so thank you for tuning in. Happy Mother's Day to moms, and happy anniversary to Grace Church. 60 years, quite a milestone. I know that there's some other milestones coming up. I know Carl and Rosella Redekop are going to be celebrating a 50th anniversary in June, and you probably know already, I said on Sunday that Mary Friesen had her 99th birthday last week. So lots of good things happening still, and God willing, we'll be back in action more like normal in the near future. But for now, here's what we got, and we'll work with it. So God bless you. Have a great Mother's Day weekend, and maybe we'll see you on Sunday if we're allowed to have this drive-through thing. It would sure be nice if we could, even if it's just saying hello to you through a window and handing you a cupcake. But it is what it is, right? So take care. God bless, and have a good weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.